This is Geek Bombs Book Club. We are live at the moment. The gang's back together. I think we're affectionately calling this like Omega Book Club or Beta Book Club. I like Beta Book Club because it's beta than the others. I hope this is live. I've got two computers open at the moment, and so far it hasn't gone on, so I have no idea how long the delay is. That's it. Okay, cool. Thank God. This is the first time I'm streaming, so this is So this is a lot happening here.
We got to hear that YouTube ad.
Yeah, Let right? It play. No, I know. Hey, it's making Geek Bomb money, right? You guys know it's Geek ad. So obviously we are joined by the lovely Rachel Heine. She is basically Nerdist.com in a nutshell. And Hector, who is DC All Access's host. For about a year and a half, we hosted the best damn book club in the world on the Alpha Network. And so when that kind of stopped, I picked up because Geek Bomb has always done a lot of book club things. We used to do conversations like this with authors, something that Geek Bomb is looking to do again, which is super, super cool. And yeah, we nominate a book and we kind of talk about it each week. This is now it's each month with Geek Bomb. This is a little bit different though, because we are actually not talking about a book, we are talking about all the books. This is a general discussion, and it's kind of A, to see if we could go live and how that looks. B, just to make sure that the Patreon backers are prioritized with this, and also C, to get this out to the masses. So how is everyone during goddamn lockdown? Rach, how you been?
Generally I'm okay. This is sort of my I'm very fortunate in that I can work from home, and was doing it a couple times a week anyway. It is hard, Nerdist is we're a small team, but we're part of a bigger thing at Legendary, so figuring out moving a studio to working from home, we've had an easier time than they have probably, but they're doing great. I'm doing okay. I'm talking to panel. Nothing's that different. I just would like the option to, socialize and go outside, but I also want to protect people, obviously, so I'm in it for the long haul. I have a lot of people in my life who are immunocompromised, so I don't want to take any risks. So I've just been probably drinking a little too much wine and talking too much.
Cheers! In true fashion. That's an Alpha Book Club. What have you got?
Yeah.
Hector, what's your Tumblr?
So I actually have a box of these. So when we are allowed to see each other, I have these for you guys.
Oh, Hector's got Majora's Mask. That is sick. And I have Paul Robeson, who has sent this in. He gave us each our own glasses, and because we, in Alpha Book Club days, decided that we all wanted our own houses since we were covering Harry Potter every second month. I was House Maude, hear me pour, and he made and engraved these really cool glasses. This one's my favorite because it's a bit bigger than a lot of the other glasses that I have, and I like using this one. Hector, how you been, buddy? I miss you.
I miss you both so much. I miss lots of folks, but especially you two. And same as Rachel, I'm pretty lucky that I have been able to stay at home. First work slowed and then stopped for safety reasons. And then my work stuff has, again, fortunately, been trying to figure out how to do it from home. So that's really, really cool. And I feel really lucky about that. And but quarantine can be hard, but other times it's also cool because it's like I can just sit home all day and watch movies or read. And it is kind of what I always wanted, but it is, like Rachel said, you'd love the opportunity to like go outside. So, but yeah, it's good.
Well, I have a dog.
Yeah, you have to go outside, but also I think that we've been covering a lot of different stuff on Nerdist, the COVID-19 in general, but also distraction stuff. But the environment already in Los Angeles. Hi, Zelda.
I love her.
The environment in Los Angeles, pollution has gone away, like in a crazy, like the Offspring song, gone away. And look, and I was a Hot Topic kid. So I hope that even as we get through this, as a world, that some of these things are probably good habits to take up to save the planet anyway. So I hope that we get to a place where, we're not inside 24/7, but maybe we are taking more time to walk instead of drive or take, different stuff.
Yeah.
Maude,
how have you been doing?
Guys, I'm working like 70-hour weeks during this. It turns out that if you have like a set capability, tech, production, intel, if you kind of like, can make content, you're in a good position. I'm working on something that will launch within the week, which I'm very excited about. I've been doing test shows for it for like the last 3 weeks. It's been very demanding, interesting to see if I can even pull it off, but it means that I get to talk about a lot of things to watch, so that will be really cool. Obviously, this is talking about what to read. I would love to do another thing, which is talking about all video games, but that kind of builds up power, which I do at Geek Bomb, playing, watching, reading. This is obviously the big reading component. But I've just announced today I'm launching another show, and that is going to be on Friday. It'll be live. Trisha Hirschberger and I are teaming up, and we're doing the Powerup Podcast, where we talk about what we're playing, watching, and reading. Yeah, it's going to be. I'm so excited to work with her because she left SourceFed just as I started, so we actually never got to kind of collaborate on things. But yeah, that's going to be live on her Twitch, and it's also going to live on Geek Bomb, and it's going to be available in podcast form. So, it's going to be a big week. So this is technically like 3 shows launching in a way. I kind of wanted to just see what Geek Bomb looks like live on YouTube, and the fact that we can do it. So that's super cool. And so who knows what the future has in store for all of that. But hey, let's not do that. Cool people texting me and whatever, we're all at home doing our thing. What's really important to note though is that we have Discord. Geek Bomb has a Discord, and it is a community that you can access when you back Geek Bomb's Patreon. They're all in there right now. Adam, Jimmy, Game Wizard, whose name I keep thinking is Simon, but it's not at all. But for some reason, my brain's just like set on that. So sorry, Game Wizard, your name is just Simon. I have no idea how my brain works like that, but yeah, I hope you understand. It's like Steven. Sorry, buddy. But everyone's in there, and they're going to be asking. They're going to ask us questions at the end. So that'll be really cool. If you do want to join a really great community, do back Geek Bomb, because I'm trying to do more stuff like this, and it's thanks to you that it can happen. So guys, the big thing we want to talk about is what we have been reading currently. A couple of the topics that I would love to get the Discord chatting about. What are you reading at the moment? What is the best series of all time? Who is some of the best female characters, male characters, protagonists, antagonists, favorite genres, and a genre we would love to explore. So there's a bunch of topics to talk about. We're going to get through them all as well. Hector, I'll start with you. You showed us the Star Wars shirt. Aaron! Sorry! Aaron!
Don't feel bad, Aaron. Yeah.
Aaron. Yeah, so tell us all about... oh, that's so cool. I'm wearing Geek Bomb merchandise for book club. We made book club...
R.I.P.
That's cool too, but that's not Star Wars mod, but that's cool.
No, that's me tooting my own horn. What is the Star Wars books that you've been reading, and comics as well? Because I loved going in for comic recommendations.
Okay. I have show and tell. So I want you ladies to sit back for like 3-4 minutes and snack on some wine, because I'm about to do a little Hector show and tell. So with quarantine, I have been doing deep dives into some stuff I've always wanted to do, including Star Wars, Indiana Jones, and John Carter of Mars, the Edgar Rice Burroughs series and world. So I rewatched some indie movies, and then Indiana Jones. This is what I wanted to show off right here. You can see this in my background. This is Indiana Jones, The Ultimate Guide. Beautiful book. It covers so good. It covers not just the 4 movies, but also all of the novels and comics and things that I was always interested in. So I went and did another deep dive. Oh, and here's another fun thing, is I got this book in the mail, The Making of Indiana Jones. Gorgeous book, making of all 4 films. So as a movie fan, a movie buff, really well put together, really great, interesting read.
You mean all 3 movies, right?
There's 4 of them, Rachel. Sorry. If Star Wars fans get to now all of a sudden defend the prequels like those weren't terrible garbage, which they are, then Indiana Jones fans get to say, no, the 4th one was made. It's fine. Let's get over it.
That's fine.
I like Kate Blanchett as a villain. I think she's a great villain.
Oh, this is my favorite part of the movie.
Good Bob. Real good Bob.
Excellent, Bob. Excellent.
Yeah.
You will help us find it. Fantastic. Okay. So
who would win out of that
Indiana
villain,
Jones,
or I was gonna say who would win that villain with Cate Blanchett or her as Hela?
Oh, Hela every time. Hela could defeat Thanos. Anyway, okay, here we go. Indiana Jones.
Her, sort of.
Indiana Jones comics that I picked up. This is an omnibus from Dark Horse, and it's in pretty bad condition, but it's super, super fun comics. Then I found this. I ordered this. This is the movie novelizations. Beep, boop, boop. The first 3. Bing, bang, bong.
Wow, you're going hard.
I'm
impressed.
I'm going ham on indie. And then in 2008, when the last movie came out 12 years ago, in 2008, I don't know if Lucasfilm was owned by Disney then. I guess not, but they still were about to do this big merchandising push, and I think that they were hoping for the movie to do better and be more successful, but they came out with a new book, and this is an original adventure called Indiana Jones and the Army of the Dead, which I haven't read yet, but I ordered it, and this was going to be the first of many, but they didn't do any more, so this is the only one. But then I went back and found the first ever Indiana Jones novel that was written. It came out in 1991, and I ordered it, and it just arrived today. This is Indiana Jones and the Peril at Delphi. This is from the year 1991. This is not a reprint. This is the original book there. So I've been going ham on all the indie stuff and have read one of the movie novelizations, and it was fun, and I've reading the comic, and it's really fun. So then over in the Star Wars world, two things I've been doing. Number one, I've been doing the comics, and I just finished recently maybe my favorite series, which is the Poe Dameron comic series. Which I never, and it's so good. And there's a volume of the Poe Dameron series, a little section of a couple issues that explains, like, here's what happened to Greg Grunberg's character during The Last Jedi. Stuff that, like, only right, where I'm like, oh, they explain it, and it's wonderful. So that comic was great, and
it's kind of like
I love
Patchwork,
that character,
isn't it?
And it was a really great read.
It's the comics kind of act, and Clone Wars especially acts as like. Why? What's happening? Why is this stressing?
It's stressing me out because I'm such a completist that I stick to movies a lot of the time because I feel overwhelmed with the order and how to, like, it's still a struggle for me. That's why I need you guys back in my life on a regular basis if you've ever left. But yeah, it stresses me out to be like, but which one do I read? They're all, I don't know.
That's a really good point.
Here's one I can recommend.
That's what I have with comic books all the time. It's so overwhelming, and it's just like, you need to have runs that are consistent and coherent. I actually did read quite a few of the Star Wars comics when they first came out, when they had the whole wipe of Legends becoming the extended universe. And then everything from then on was canon. And I, was hosting a Star Wars podcast. So I was like, I have to know everything here. And what I was kind of saying before was it's so cool that you can expand this universe to the point where it's like you have your movies, which are like the kind of the top tier, the staples. Everything else that needs more explanation, or you can stretch out, or you can flesh out, which is super important. Like the Clone Wars are so great. And Hector, I know you just recently did a full rewatch, which I would love to do if I get time, because they're so great.
I did. I recommend it. I'm caught up. The other part of...
I've never watched it, and I'm very overwhelmed.
They make the prequels better.
Do I need to...
They do. They really do.
I know. And that's the thing is I know that they're good. I know that the show is good. I just get overwhelmed with choice, I think.
It is. It's overwhelming, but the fact that they're on Disney Plus made it easy for me. The tricky thing is that the order that they're on in Disney Plus is like the wrong order, and you have to go and find the chronological correct
I've never done
order.
it that way.
And then I did, and StarWars.com even had a list with a link that you could literally click the episode, and it would take you to the episode on Disney Plus.
That?
I highly recommend it.
Have you watched them not in order yet? Because I've only watched them. So that's what I've done. But you kind of go, I remember, like, we're on season 4, but I remember a follow-on from season 2, but what really happened again? And it was kind of cool, but yeah, I think watching it in the original order, like as it's supposed to go out, I'm not sure why Dave Filoni had that mindset, and I don't even know how they're able to kind of map out so many episodes in a wrong order. But yeah, I'm keen to go back. Maybe Rach, you just told us, Rachel, you're starting so many awesome shows. Maybe, Airbender, and we can also do Clone Wars.
Yeah, Game Wizard. I definitely want to do that. And Game Wizard says that recommends Lock and Key, which I actually started because I loved the series, and I know that there was some, back and forth about the imagery, because the imagery in the comics is so extreme, and to get it made on TV is a different thing. But I watched the show twice through.
Whoa.
Loved it. They sent screeners like a month early, so I watched it, was obsessed with it, and then when it came out again, I watched it again. Super my shit, obviously. So I started the first couple issues of
collections, paperbacks
of Lock and Key, so I really liked that one as well.
Hey, really quickly, I'd like to
So
take a second.
Thank you for reading. Look,
if you're gonna do Star Wars, this is what I just recently finished during quarantine.
That's with the Sage
Say that again,
Ventress,
Maude?
and I was going to quickly go to the Discord, but I'll do that in a second. This book right here is a Sage Ventress.
I know her.
And
I know her
from Clone Wars. She was so amazing.
The prequel book.
She basically is Count Dooku's apprentice, because they share the same curved lightsaber. This is all of my knowledge coming back again. She was a dual wielder. Shaved head. Yeah, but that's a newly introduced character that she's in this book with, as I remember. But yeah, their backstory, like they're like a part of like a witch's coven almost. Such a cool saga like that happens in the Clone Wars, which is another reason you're going to fall so hard for a Sage Ventress, Rach, that she's going to be your favorite. But while I've got you,
I read her in when the prequel.
Oh, prequel.
Sorry, I lost the stream for a second. When the prequels were going on, my best friend from high school, Alex, who's a huge Star Wars nerd, he lent me a bunch of his books. So I read a couple. One that's like Dooku and Yoda facing off before episode 3, and there's like young Padawan in it, and she's in that. And then I also know that from Solo, that Maul ends up like on a planet of witches, and so I've been meaning to dive into that. Obviously.
Yeah, the Dathomir, and that coven. What are they called? Where's she
the
from?
Night Sisters.
Yes.
The Night Sisters of Dathomir.
Yeah.
So I was worried because I'd also learned about Darth Maul coming back, and I had never seen the show. I was worried that when I started watching the show, I was like, okay, this is going to be dumb. Like, they're not going to do a good job. But when I finally got to when Darth Maul was, like, resurrected and came back, I was like, oh, this is very mythic and cool, and they know what they're doing, and they know how to play with this world without making it just fan service.
Yeah.
I thought it was a great job. So I would highly recommend this book, Dark Disciple. But you do have to kind of get through some seasons of Clone Wars. Like, you get through like 5 seasons, and then you're at the point in the story where you're like, okay, now I can go and read this thing.
Got it.
Okay.
So,
yeah, I'm doing Avatar right now. Same best friend has been pressuring me to watch it, and there's a whole dumb backstory about
and Rachel, when you're done with that show, you're going to want to read the comics from Dark Horse. The Avatar, The Last Airbender comics are amazing. Amazing.
Well, I already love how feminist it is. I'm on the first season, but I'm like 8 or 9 episodes in, and I was like, warrior chicks. Yeah, like it's hitting all my boxes.
Yeah.
And then I have another
really
little last bit of
before
show and tell, and then I'm done.
No, okay. There's something in the Discord that's kind of like relevant to what we're all talking about, which I kind of just want to take a second. So Aaron spoke to you, Rachel.
Bring it up.
Yeah.
Bring it up, Maude.
Aaron says, to you, Rachel, I think this is about Lock and Key. That's why I pick a limited series or comics with a story arc that you don't need to see all that came before it. I think that's like saying with how he's overwhelmed. So like if you start with limited series or comics with a story arc, that's a good and Hector's all about that one. Adam says, I am here for Hector's mannerisms. Yeah. And there's literally a thumbs up under that one. And then also there's a little bit of lag happening. And so the suggestion is, guys, if you are experiencing lag, just hit the refresh button because that will help. So refreshing does work. Because there's quite a little bit of lag happening. So that's anyway, a little bit of housekeeping. Sorry, Hector. What is the last piece of your show and tell?
If you haven't seen the movie, nobody did. It's called John Carter. It's a fun Disney adventure family film that came out 8 years ago in 2012. And sorry, Rachel, I know.
I remember the billboards being up in LA when I visited here. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Who is it? Taylor. What's his name? Taylor
Kitsch.
Kitsch.
From Friday Night Lights.
I've
roommate
interviewed him.
Friday Night Lights.
It's Friday Night Lights. I interviewed Taylor Kitsch, and he was just being such a shit in my interview where, like, I was trying to have a really genuine discussion about the movie, but he kept making stuff up, and, like, he was just lying, and he was just, like, joking around. But I'm here going, I have 5 minutes. I need good content. And so because he kept lying, because he was like, oh, yeah, Michael Keaton wasn't even in the movie. And I'm like, I watched the movie. I just interviewed Michael Keaton. He's like, yeah, he's not in it. And I had to say to him, I was like, look, buddy, your breath is stinking because you're talking shit. And I need you to stop that. And he was like, all right. He loved it. I was just like, it was such a risk because he could have been like, fuck you. But he was just like, respect. Okay. Yeah.
You were good at reading people. You're very good at reading people, Maude. That's what makes your interviews. Yeah.
Thanks,
okay, so John Carter, this movie is on Netflix and Disney Plus currently. And I went and got the movie novelization, which also comes with the first book from 1912, A Princess of Mars.
Whoa.
And I went and I know it's an old book.
It's from 1912.
Yep, it was first published in 1912. The movie came out 100 years later. It is an old series of sci-fi novels, and they're pretty racist because it's so old. But I went and found these 3 collections I want to show off real quick. This is the complete series of John Carter of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. Each of these books have 3 to 4 or 5 books in them, and this is one little paperback right here. This is John Carter of Mars Volume 1, the collected John Carter of Mars Volume 2, and then I bet you can guess what comes next, the collected John Carter of Mars Volume 3, and that's all 11 books in the series that were published from like 1912 up into the 30s, possibly, something like that. But I love them very much, and I had never read the whole series. I've read the first 3 years ago, so I'm going to reread them right now, and I love them so much. So highly recommend, if you haven't checked it out, to check out the movie, and if you like the world, then to go check out the books, knowing, again, that they're pretty racist, pretty misogynistic. They're from 1912,
the
so you got to give them credit.
Love John Carter the movie. They are so Team Hector. Yeah, they're big fans over there. They're saying it was. Aaron says it's good and unappreciated. Wish it could have gotten a sequel.
I definitely saw it, but I'm pretty sure I went to remember when we used to only do midnight screen, opening nights? I used to do that a lot. Hansel and Gretel Witch Hunter. Was only there with my boyfriend at the time. We were the only people at the midnight.
Jeremy Renner? Who else was that?
Oh, yeah.
Jeremy Renner and...
Oh, forget the actress's name. She was in Quantum of Solace. She played Agent Strawberry Fields.
She's British. She's great.
Yeah.
Forgot her name. But, it's going to bother me. That one...
Chad will get us started.
Mm-hmm.
Jupiter Ascending I did, and then... but all of these I was... incredibly stoned for, so I don't remember. This was 8 years ago? What else was I doing? I was smoking weed and going to midnight.
That's it, man. So that's my show and tell. That's what I've been reading, and I have loved some of this downtime to be able to read some of these books on my list that I've always wanted to read. So
I have missed your enthusiasm for this. I love how excited you are and how excited you get. That passion is so good. Rach? What you've been reading. Also, I really want to just preface by saying Rachel, I'm going to say it's because of me, but has moved into Audible. She listens to books now. You guys were so team turn a page, and I was like team 2 things at once.
Look, I would never judge, and I've always, even before I imbibed audiobooks, I've not read a book in probably a year now. I'm hooked on audiobooks, but I would never say that doesn't count as reading or what other fucking asshole people say sometimes. Sorry, pardon my language, but seriously, I don't think that counts. But for me, it was always an issue because I have ADHD and would just space out when I was listening to stuff. But A, meds are great. B, I because I'm so distracted, it's actually really great because I'll clean, especially being at home right now. I clean my whole apartment, deep clean every day because I just need to feel that. at night. But I've been doing like Animal Crossing with audiobook. It's so good. I'm such a convert, and I want to shout out also for anyone who may have a library card or could easily get a library card in the United States. You can do it online. It's very easy. I use Libby. There's also Overdrive. There are a couple other apps, and I will still purchase books that I really love, or if they're not available and things like that. But I have been all of my books for the past year plus have been audiobooks. So
really quickly, Gemma Arterton.
That's her name.
Yes. Yeah.
I told you they'd deliver.
She was on my Pinterest board for hair inspiration like 5 years ago. She had some good bangs.
So sorry. We digress. You've been doing audiobooks. Have you been doing series, standalones? What genre? Hit us with them.
So for those who don't know me, I love spooky stuff. So reading wise, if I'm left to my own devices, I'm reading twisty thrillers. So I want something that I'm not going to guess. I pride myself on guessing components or an entire ending. Not like gotcha twists, but something with, I love a female protagonist, a female author, some kind of murder, disappearance, mystery, puzzle sort of thing. So I've read a couple of books by several different authors, but multiples of the same author. So I did Lisa Jewell, who has done a couple really great thrillers, but the most recent one I read was The Family Upstairs. I gave it 5 stars on Goodreads. You can't see it, but
I did.
But the one that I spent like a month listening to one. It's a huge. I just lent the paperback copy to my uncle a couple weeks ago, but it's called The Historian, and it's a story within a story within a story.
How?
And it's sort of like Cloud Atlas, where you have That's
ambitious.
It is ambitious. It's different than the movie Cloud Atlas, Hector, because the book is framed where you start at the earliest time, and each one, you get like the first half of each story, and then it goes the second half. This one is a woman in the 70s-ish. No, she's a young girl in the 70s. Her dad is a historian. He's also a diplomat. They travel all over the world. And then he's telling her a story. She's telling her version of the story to you. And the dad's also hearing the story from his professor. But it's all about Dracula. The myth, Vlad the Impaler, these historians in the teens and then the 40s and then the 70s kind of exploring and going from city to city. Is this real? Is this not? It's like 900 pages. It's beautiful. It was one of the best things I've ever. I mean, and
Rachel, do you like the old classic spooky like Universal monsters, Dracula and Frankenstein and everything?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. Did you read the book? I know I must have told you about it.
It's on. I'm waiting for it on Libby. The Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein. Yep, it's on my list. I've been waiting for it for like 15 weeks.
They're going to make a show. They're going to make a TV show from it.
Yeah, I saw it. And this is very much what I've heard that is similar to, but I love the framework of story within a story within a story. I love characters who are predisposed to skepticism, like a historian who would be reading about, of course, Vlad the Impaler was a real person, but not an actual vampire, right?
You don't know.
Yeah, it's that one was really good, and then I just finished one called Lock Every Door, which was about. Do you guys know Eloise?
Eloise?
The little French girl? Yeah.
That's
Madeline.
Madeline. But it's more Eloise gets to go to the plaza for a day and have a fancy day, and it's like New York, whatever. This is basically a young woman gets an ad for being paid to stay in a very, very nice penthouse apartment in New York.
Peoples.
And then people start dying. and everyone else there is rich, and the people who are dying are the house sitters, or disappearing, rather. Mm-hmm. And so it's this kind of like Agatha Christie, small setting, whodunit. That's my...
Have you, Jabba Book Geek Girl, you, says that she finished Woman in the Window last month, a really good thriller with a twist that she didn't see coming. It is going to be a movie with Amy Adams, I believe, and someone else, like, is it Meryl Streep or someone like that? A really great actress?
Julianne Moore is in it, I believe. Someone weird plays the husband, where he seems much older than... Shocking. But... The Woman in the Window is great. That one I did not see. Yeah, I read that one last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I like that one a lot. Don't laugh at me.
I think it was the last year. That could be
That's funny. Hey, somebody in the chat had a question for you.
Has read The Historian.
Very cool. Yeah. Rachel, question for you, because you're just dipping into audiobooks, and Maude, question for you.
Yeah.
Nathan in the chat, in the Discord chat, was saying like he has clashing voices when he reads either when he originally read it versus when he's listening to the audiobook, or just that it's just not working. Do you guys ever deal with that? I mean, you're playing Animal Crossing, Rachel, when you're listening to audio books.
When I'm
right. Yeah. Right, but like, do you ever like hear one of the readers or the narrators or an actor in one of the audiobooks and go, that doesn't feel right to me, or are you just along for the ride?
Great question. Thanks, Nathan.
Maude, I think, has an opinion on this.
Big time. Oh yeah, for sure. I will always love reading a book more, only because I get to do it in my pace. It's my voices. It's like my understanding of it. I have complete control over the words with how I, hear it, feel it, whatever. And I am only reading when I read a book. So I am 100%, unless my mind wanders, I'm like 100% on the book. With Audible,
Hermione, am I right? Hermione, right?
Hey, listen here, Hector. Fuck, that sucked. And I'm like still like for ages. He blushed with chagrin, and they're like, no.
Oh yeah.
I'm like,
I used to think that too.
Good.
Preface makes more sense than preface. Makes more sense.
Fazua sounds so much better than Fisher. Anyway. What I do like doing, though, is I'm the kind of person where it's just like I'm really struggling these days to sit down and lock into something, whether it's writing, whether it's, that focus that I have. Once I'm in, I'm on a roll, which is what I loved with reading. But at this particular stage, I'm constantly picking up my phone in between takes, or I'm like, takes, you know what I mean? I just can't kind of like focus in that sense. So for me, Audible is amazing because every time I walk my dog, I put in my headphones and I'm listening to a book. So I'm strolling around the neighborhood and listening. When I was driving, I would be listening. But something that I've noticed with Audible is that no matter what, I can never be 100% focused on it unless I'm almost like eyes shut in bed, not holding my phone. And I've noticed, like, I think I probably take in...
Absorb.
Yes, I was going with obtain. I'm like, that's not my word. About no more than 75%. So I'm only across 3/4 of what's going in the book. And that's that thing where it's like I might gloss over a page because I'm kind of like not focused, but then I kind of pick it up and I'm like, oh, I know what's happening. Okay. But then I've had it a couple of times where my mind's wandered, or I haven't really been listening. And so I'll go back to the beginning of the chapter and I'll hear it again and pick up like 10 more things that I missed the first time. So there is a little point where Audible is great because I can multitask, but it also means that I'm sacrificing the quality of what I'm receiving.
Got it.
And so that's something that it's a decision that I kind of have to make. But I mean, in this time, I just want to get back into the habit of reading before I go to bed.
Yeah.
And throwing my phone away.
I have almost the opposite, where I still definitely sometimes have to, hit the back 30 seconds because I'll drift off. But growing up, I would read, this is not a humble brag, it's just like my brain, but I would read really, really fast. And
okay.
No,
I do too. I speed read. And Rachel, the worst thing that I can do, and I want to know if you do this as well, but when I'm speed reading, I'll become aware that I'm speed reading because I have no idea what goes on in my head. I must be like going when I'm reading it.
Anything.
And then as soon as I'm aware, I'm like, oh, you're speed reading. And then I try to go back reading and I can't because I have to, like, in my head say every word. And so it fucks me. Like, I have to get into this almost like trance where I'm just like, but as soon as I think about it,
the language and like the cadence and everything, like my brain speeds it up when I'm reading visually, and I'm looking. It's almost like, you know, when that weird thing of like you have a word in the first
and the last, yes,
yeah,
yep.
So it's very similar to that where I'm not staying on every word, especially, you know. In college, I would have to like parse language for classes and stuff, so I'd have to slow down, or I would just not go to class. But but now when I'm reading for fun, I notice that the audiobook actually I focus more because my brain likes having multitask stuff, but it helps me focus more.
Interesting.
On the audiobook than the book itself. So like when I was growing up and I would be reading a book, I would get in trouble all the time because my mom would be like in the doorway yelling at me to go to school, and I was like, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, wow.
I literally didn't hear you. And so with this, I feel like I'm, you know, also Animal Crossing is like, boop, planting a tree. Like, it's not like, it's a very like passive experience.
Oh, I call it meditation. It's like an in-game meditation. Yeah, because you're just doing mundane tasks.
Did you know? So everyone recommended Stardew Valley, and I was like, that's cool. But I found the goth version that's like grave something, and you just build like a graveyard.
Yeah. Yeah, I tweeted about that.
I love it so much.
I'm still playing, I haven't in a while, but I like Stardew Valley in that sense. I think I like Stardew Valley more than Animal Crossing because Animal Crossing is like, I'm like, just say your words.
That's why I turn the sound off unless I'm like really into it and want to make.
And one of my neighbors said they didn't like my watermelon dress, and I'm like, fuck you.
Ouch.
I look good.
I've been, because I'm a really bad video game player in general, but I also couldn't figure out Animal Crossing, and I tweeted like, help me. And I got like very nice gifts from Twitter people, like a skull wallpaper.
Oh, nice.
And like it's very witchy. So, but Maude, what are you reading right now?
I'm actually not reading anything new. I've got this thing where it's like as long as enough time has gone past, and in this case it's about 2 years, maybe even 3 years. If I loved it, I want to go back again. Even though I kind of know-ish what's happening, I can't retain the things that happen after 2 or 3 years. So it's kind of like reading it for the first time, but knowing I'm going to love it. So I am revisiting a series that's got I don't know how many books, maybe 8, maybe 10. What I can't stand is that it's just like a new title each time. I want to hear it's book 3. Like, I don't want to hear the new title. Like, please help me with that. It's not clear, and I constantly have a Dresden Files Wikipedia of the order because I've read it out of order accidentally one time. I need help with that. But I'm re-listening to Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas, and I'm in a separate kind of like private girls book club where I'm recommending all these kind of like fantasy but also a little sexy. I'm cheating on you guys. Yeah, I'm cheating on you guys. Yeah, it's basically so we can discuss. It's basically so that we can discuss the fact that they call a penis velvet wrapped steel.
Oh, I don't want to be a part of that.
That's why
Hilarious.
That's what I'm gonna call my penis from now on.
Steel. God damn.
That's what I'm gonna call my penis. That's amazing.
You're welcome.
Velvet wrapped steel.
I laughed. It's ridiculous. But
it reminds me of Arrested Development. Have any of you ever seen a chicken? But have any of you ever, got it.
Oh, okay. So now that I'm reading it for the second time, because I recommended it to everyone, I loved the first read of it, and then a friend of mine who used to actually be a contributor at Geek Bomb, she goes, just a couple of the themes with it, like she's obsessed with this notion of not just having an attraction or being with someone, but you're a mate, which means that you're like, your souls are almost like intertwined and like imprinted in a way. So it's like you're so in love. A little bit, yeah. That you're so in love that it's like destiny for you to be together. And I just think that that's just a little unrealistic, and that to me is a bit naff. But reading it through the second time, I'm picking up on these things where before I was like, it's so great, they finally had sex. But now it's just like, oh, yeah, this is kind of
like Ready Player One.
Exactly. Loved it the first time. And then I was like, this guy needs to stop just wanking his own ego. Yeah.
And
well, I mean,
on a treadmill.
Yeah, that's the thing that I've been dealing with rewatching. Like I always knew that a lot of my favorite movies have issues like this, but I rewatched Indiana Jones, and then I was reading the book that's the novelization based on the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, and there's sequences where I'm like, they don't tell you how old Marion was when she first hooked up with Indy, and they're hinting at the fact that she was underage. Yeah. And I know it's 1932 or whatever, but it's still like,
was it through college? No, because that means she would be older than 18.
It was. They don't say in the book, and I don't know, or I don't remember. I know that the info is out there somewhere, like how old.
She's like 16.
Yeah, which is still like not great. And maybe Harrison Ford's Indy was like 26. It's that kind of like almost like a 10-year difference, because I think now she's supposed she's supposed to be like 25 and he's supposed to be 35, something like that. I don't know what the ages are, but still, it's a thing that you can still love while still acknowledging like some of the issues in it. But yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think that's great.
Nathan made a really great hashtag in the chat. Hashtag men writing men. That's
velvet wrapped steel.
Well, that's actually that's a female author, kind of like through a female gaze, because women can't obviously say the words penis or cock or anything like that. It has to be velvet wrapped goddamn steel. But yeah, that's
10 Things I Hate About You. Allison Janney, who
throbbing member
now, which is insane.
I know.
But her whole erotica thing, I was like, if I end up as like a principal or a counselor writing erotica, not bad. Not like terrible. I just like her turgid. Turgid.
Yeah. Bratwurst. I like it. And I'm also going back through the Dresden files. We have covered book 1 and 2 for Geek Bomb Book Club. You guys were there for book 1. Rachel came back for book 2. I'm trying to just convince everyone to get through it. They're such a great read. They're a lot of fun. They get better and better. I've been doing a lot more research into communities about Dresden, and they said actually to start at book 3, which I felt was really interesting because that's when he starts getting a little bit better. I don't think I could start anything unless it's at the beginning.
Same.
I can't either.
Yeah.
But we recommend sometimes. It depends. So, for example, Buffy. I watched that. I didn't watch it.
I'm watching it at the moment.
Yeah, I know. I've been thinking about it. There's so much new to watch, and like my friend Alex has been trying to get me to watch Avatar for like 15, however many years it's been on. But I'm like, but what if I just rewatch it? But I watched it in college. So after it was on, but it was through, all of that. But depending on who I'm recommending it to, right? Same thing with books or games. You have to know your audience, right? So if there's someone who can't get over like really monster of the week type episodes or some real bad effects, I have sort of the first season of Buffy, I'll recommend like first 2 episodes, 2 to 3, wherever Amy Witch stuff shows up, Angel, and then like the last 2. Because a lot of the in-between doesn't have as much character development, and it gets a little...
I'm fine with it. I like it.
Yeah.
Too, but for new people watching it in 2020...
Whole thing. Do it.
For sure.
Commit.
I agree, but
I have a question for Maude. Maude, with Dresden Files, did you ever go and watch the one and only season of the sci-fi series starring the
I lasted 3 episodes. Guys, it's on Tubi. which is a free streaming service, Tubi.tv. The first season's still up there, so you can watch it. A couple of us in the Discord have also seen the show. For me, it's just like they made some changes. Some are great, some just don't work. Yeah, and they're not really pulling from the books. They're just going, okay, this is what exists in the world. We'll just do whatever we want in it. I like, is it Paul Blackhorn?
Yeah.
He's great as Dresden. I really liked what he did. But he's kind of like,
Arrow Papa?
Yep. But there's just a couple of things where it's just like, it felt like really bad Charmed, where it was just a little bit too cheesy, and it could have been great. Like, Dresden drives a really classic.
Oh, God. The Power of Three. I'm sorry. Sorry, I love Charmed. Shocker. It's okay.
That show should have been called Alyssa Milano Close Up on Her Boobs. Like, honestly, they sexualized her so hard. So that's what?
Yeah.
Really.
That's the 90s.
In the 2000s. That's like Jennifer Love Hewitt in Can't Hardly Wait. Like, it's that era of... Even Clue. We did a Clue watch-along for Nerdist last week, and it was like, that cleavage is distracting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. A lot of boobies in Clue.
But it is, like, it's part of the joke, and it's one of my favorite movies, but,
Yeah.
So they're the two that I'm kind of delving back into. I would like to, in this time, have a book that I will read next to my bed. The last book that I read was My Husband's Secret, which was a Lorraine Moriarty book. She's an Australian author. She did Big Little Lies. It reminds me of another Australian author I used to watch in my early 20s. What's her name? Starts with M. She did, I don't know, it was just like really easy, digestible books that were about women in Australia, kind of juggling like new relationships or marriage or divorces. And I don't know, I really liked it, especially for like a 21-year-old. Maggie Alderson. Yee-hoo! Got it.
Hey, you're a woman from Australia.
Yeah.
So you probably can relate a lot to that.
But I was definitely not really in a relationship or in that phase of my life. But I want to, I don't know, I just want to read a lot more. I'm struggling with Audible because if it's a bad narrator, I'm out. There are so many fantasy books, all of, I have it in here somewhere, all of, what's his name? He took over Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time. I can't believe his name's escaping me. He did, there it is, misspelled, Brandon Sanderson, massive fantasy. I want to read the Mistborn series because I had the books and I got 2/3 of the way through the first one and I bowed out for some reason because I think it was on. I had the book in the bathroom and it turns out I don't like to read while I'm busy.
Mm-hmm.
I love to.
Really? I'm in and out.
I'm a bath reader.
Yeah, that works for me. Oh, I have a shower speaker, so I put Audible in my shower speaker.
What?
Yeah, so good. It's like $10, guys. I can't rate about this enough. Go on Amazon, look up shower speaker. They're circular. They're so great. You can even take calls in the shower if you want to because it links up to Bluetooth. The best $10 I've ever spent. What a game changer. But his name's Michael Kramer, and I think a lot of these books were like the first round when Audible came out, like 2003, 2007, like between that era. The audio's not great, but oh my god, we talk about it a lot on Geek Bomb's book club. James Masters, who is Spike from Buffy, who narrates all of Dresden Files, has fucked us all because he's so good that anyone else who's not him trying to read a book, I'm just like, bow out, buddy. Leave it to the pros. Like, this is not good. Michael Kramer is a narrator. You need to be an actor. You need to be a storyteller. James is literally wearing the words and sharing them, not reading them, you know? And I think that's such a trait for audiobooks because, if I hear, freaking Roger... I'm trying to think of a really boring sentence, but it's like, Roger went down the staircase, and he turned left, and he walked into the room, and he looked around. I can't do that, guys! So I have all of these books in Audible that I'm not listening to, and I just can't stand that Michael Kramer's behind all of them. Sorry, buddy, if you're watching. No one send this to him. but it's wrecking my day. And so that's why I might try to get into books again, or like a lot of things. I remember Jim Dale with Harry Potter. I was like, why did they hire a man who cannot say his R's to read Harry Potter? By book 3, I like would take a bullet for this man, you know? So he does the best Molly Weasley. He was so great. So maybe I just need to suffer through the first 1 or 2, and then I'll have a whole library like available to me again.
I just got Harry Potter and the Sorcerers or Philosophers, depending on...
Philosophers! I will fight you, Hector. I will fight you.
Either way, to listen to it, because I've read it so many times, but like I'm very excited to hear it. I think for me, Audible also, or audiobooks in general, are helpful because I'm not picturing what I'm reading, but then I'm not hearing, I don't hear it as well. So hearing it feels like there's the cadence and the characters and things like that that really bring it to life in a way that I feel like maybe if you're reading and can visualize it.
You guys ready?
Way.
And Seth stood still, hand on the doorframe. A reverse slashing required his constant touch, but took comparatively little stormlight. During one, anything that approached him, particularly lighter objects, was instead...
I can't do it!
What about, have you experienced the same thing with women narrators? Because I'm reading...
Annihilation. When we did Annihilation, you guys only read it. Yeah. I listened to it. I think I even have it on here, unless I deleted it from my life, because listening to her was like being in high school and listening to a lecture. It was like she's purposely boring me. Like, I don't know, there's something wrong about it.
It might be the genre too, because I'm reading thrillers that are like very first person, they're very intimate, but there are a couple of narrators that I know that have hopped across a couple different authors and books that I feel like they're my friends and I miss them when I'm done with the book, because I feel like they're like this like kind of fucked up lady trying to solve a mystery, and I'm like, I get that.
I've got an example of a female book. I got about, where am I up to on this one?
It was almost
chapter 16. But guys.
Back. The color of blood spilled on a moonless night. The color is called sangua, he said, watching my face in the mirror as I received his gift. Telesys told me that in the 7th century after Eloah...
Is that in an accent?
Only Anguissets might wear it.
Listen, this is why you got to do what I have been saying from the beginning, which is hire a cast. If it's a book that has a bunch of different characters, right? Like I have yet to, and I'm sure that they exist.
They do.
I'm sure that they exist, and I'm sure I would probably love those the best.
Oh, guys,
a man and a woman, and it's what I imagine Gone Girl might be like.
It was. I was about to say that. Oh, she gone, girl. She gone.
She gone.
Girl.
She gone.
She gone, girl. She gone. But that was so all of Dunn's, what's his name? Nick Dunn's.
Sure.
Ben
Affleck.
Yep. They were all written by read by a dude, and then hers was all, and it was great. It made the book. It was really well done. I really liked that. Yeah.
Yeah. Get a cast.
It's a good Audible.
And I still think Warner Brothers could make millions of dollars if they got together the surviving cast of the Harry Potter movies,
and
recast the kids, and got Daniel Radcliffe and Ron and Hermione as adults to voice the adult section at the end, like the epilogue, but added the scores from the films, added the sound effects, and had Ricky Gervais to play that annoying ghost Peeves. They could make millions of dollars.
I'd be down.
Right?
They used to do radio plays all the time. I think the Star Wars cast did radio plays in the 70s. I remember, I think we talked about this on one of our earlier books, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. We had The Record, which was a radio play, and my parents were like, listen to this. And I was like, peace. I'm bored.
I'm pretty sure I have The Hobbit read by J.R.R. Tolkien on vinyl that was given to me by someone I briefly liked. Yeah.
What?
It's pretty good.
Wow. What does he sound like? Because Michael Kramer sounds like a ye-old newsreader. This just in. This is what's happening in the news.
No, I have to play it again. It's been a long time since I played it. I can't remember, but
Jimmy, really quickly, Jimmy in the Discord says, Hector, can you become an Audible narrator?
Yes, but no.
You would be so good.
You two narrate, I watch, cry. Although I feel like now that I've been home alone for so long, I could probably whine myself into trying some weird ass accents.
Has this just turned into a will read books to you?
Yeah, no, but like honestly, also this Friday, LeVar Burton is doing read-alongs for children, young adults, and adults.
I saw that.
Rainbow, which he can't use, I imagine, but I cried when I saw it. Reading Rainbow was like my favorite thing growing up.
Very cool.
I don't know what you're talking about.
To watch you guys do voices and accents reading stuff out loud.
I mean, that's what we used to do on our book club. Oh, you ready? All right, Hector.
Indiana Jones
Yeah.
and the Army of the Dead.
Take it away.
It's written by Peter Falk.
Really quickly before you start, the Discord will be asking Q&A questions afterwards.
Screenshot taken.
Chapter 1. Indy hated small airplanes. Yes, planes were necessary evils. He knew if there was going to be a race to collect an ancient treasure in the modern world of 1943, the winner wasn't going to be the guy who sailed round the Horn on a clipper ship to find it. All right, that's it.
Yeah, Hector, how do we get that happening? Especially in these times, you're going to be very busy. Narrate books. I'll manage you, and I'll only take 9%.
ASMR.
Like that would make me feel lulled to sleep by like the grandfather figure that I
ASMR. Hi guys, welcome to book club. We are going to be reading books for you as you sleep. And we really hope that you have a great night's sleep tonight, because rest is so important.
I made some of my special recipe, Hector Sweaty Balls. If everybody wants to take a taste of my delicious sweaty balls, yes. That's an SNL reference. Okay, thank
Big
you.
Bomb's got like 200,000 subscribers after that. Alrighty, so we are going to the Discord. Obviously, if you guys are watching this and you're not a part of Geek Bomb's Discord, that sucks. Because it's a really great community, and usually when we did this show for the last 6 months, we'd only do it on Discord in a voice call, and that's why the chat's going nuts. But this time we are actually live, but they are going to be asking questions and I'm going to be playing them, but they're going to be asking themselves, which I think is super exciting. So we're going to kick things off. I do alphabetical order. Sorry, Adam. Are you going to be asking questions? Oh, there's a bit of a delay on this one, but
yeah, they're trying to read Rainbow in the chat, so we're delayed a bit.
He has to unmute himself. Oh, that's going to be tough.
You guys just appreciate.
No, you remind me of the babe.
What babe?
Babe of the power.
What power?
Power of the voodoo.
Voodoo?
Voodoo.
What?
Remind me of the babe. I saw my baby crying hard as babe could cry.
My dear crystal one?
What do I do? Adam! Come on, it's your turn. This is going to be... you know what? I'll say... Adam, unmute. Your question time. Yes, here we go, Adam. You there? Adam?
Hello?
Talk to us, buddy. Oh, shoot. I'm not in the book club.
What?
There we go.
That was my bad. Did it happen?
Hi,
Hi, Adam!
yes, you had to be in the Discord void.
That was my bad.
I don't have any questions, but I just want to say love you all are back, and I can't wait for more.
Can't wait for more. All right, cool. Duly noted. Thank you, Adam.
We are glad to be back.
Game Wizard Aaron! You're up. Zelda's snoring under my desk, by the way.
Pan's still hiding.
Oh,
He's
really?
Hello?
Oh, I can just hear Zelda. Sorry, Aaron, you're up. I have to write it. There we go. Hello.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Excellent.
Hi, Aaron.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yeah. Excellent. I actually have a question for all three.
What's your question?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah. What's your question?
Okay, there's a delay on my end, that's fine. So my question is, what book have you read that hasn't been adapted by TV or television? Which would it be?
One that hasn't been adapted yet on TV, for TV or tele. Well, I'm saying the same thing. TV or movie, but a book franchise or a book that we've read that hasn't been adapted that we would want to. I am a really, really big, obviously, D&D nerd. There's a series called The Legend of Drizzt, which follows a drow, a dark elf, who escapes Mez and Baranzan, which is the Underdark, and he finds life and adventure up there. There's been talks of either this series or a D&D series happening. Definitely Legend of Drizzt, because I know that one of the problems that they were facing was a drow has dark skin. How do you make this character without it looking like blackface? Because they're like a deep purple a lot of the time, or like different shades, but they're like darker skinned. So that's actually like a really, really tough sort of thing to handle respectfully in a way. But it's like a drow is a fictional creature. How do you do it? But I really want to go back to that series. Again, I have it on Audible. The narrator is fine. Still sounds like he's reading. But that's one. What are you guys thinking?
I would pick a book I read when I was in middle school called The Transl Saga, written by Gary Paulson, who also did Hatchet. And yeah, those are great.
Sexy for like middle school.
Yeah, that was fun. So this
fiction in it.
Yeah, Transl Saga was him dipping into science fiction a little bit, and it had a real impact on me when I was in middle school. So I would like to see that adapted in a way that is still for that audience, which is really cool.
So they're delayed, so he's going to hear that in about 15 seconds, which will be really rad for him.
Mine has technically been optioned, but everything is always optioned. It's the Alana series by Tamora Pierce. I would also do the Wild Magic series by Tamora Pierce, which has not been optioned. But the Alana series is a set of twins, girl and boy, and the normal path for them is men go to be a knight, or they could be a mage, women only mage. And so Alana, the twin, cuts off all her hair and goes, it's Mulan. But there's a, king of thieves and a prince and lots of knight stuff, and it's very, very badass. And also Sophia Lillis from It Chapter 1 and 2 and everything else would be the perfect Alana, so now is the time.
Can you pop that in the Discord for the recommendations so that we can pin that tweet? Because I really like the sound of that. That is so my jam.
I haven't read it since it came out. It might be, I'll put the Song of the Lioness recommendation. I've been meaning to find an audiobook and listen to it. And then have a few others, but that would probably be my main one.
I just realized as well, Name of the Wind. It's been optioned. It was like options forever ago. I think they're even going through different studios now. So I'd love to see that. I think that would be so great. But I'm a little bit worried that it might be another Game of Thrones. Finish the series before you make it. Keep writing those books, Patrick. They're so good. Hey, we got Law happening. You're up. Laura, I think is very, very new to book club for the Discord, because I don't think that they've spoken in one of the Discords yet. It looks like a new name, but let's get them happening.
Laura.
It's just a little bit of a delay.
Isn't Laura? Wait, Hector, did you watch The Dark Crystal: Age of Resistance?
No, I haven't yet. No, I have not.
You have
Okay. I think Abby started it. I think she did the first episode, so I should be able to catch up.
It's so good, and you don't have to have rewatched or watched the movie.
Okay.
It will add to it after if you want to. It has a slower pace. But I got my most recent tattoo after rewatching. Hello, Lore! But there's a rock monster.
Not Law. No, it's not Law. Law, I think, has dropped out or bailed because, who knows. But we've got Michelle, a.k.a. the cartographer, on.
Hi. Can you hear me?
We certainly can. What's your question? So great to chat.
Okay. Awesome. When rereading a favorite, where do you start? Do you have to start at the beginning, or do you flip to a random page? Favorite bits only? What's your habits when rereading something for comfort?
Let's start at the very beginning. A very good place to start.
Read, you begin with
A, B, C.
You begin with
Do, re, mi. Yeah. We are definitely.
Is that the sound of music?
Yeah. The first three notes just happen to be do, re, mi. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Okay, we'll simplify. I like that movie. Whoops. Okay. Yep, I'm the same.
It's really good.
Law said couldn't figure it out, but they'll drop by next time. So, Hector, did you answer that one for M the Cartographer?
I will say always at the beginning if
Always at the
I'm
beginning.
I
rereading.
don't know that they're in the voice chat.
No, they're not in the voice chat. Sorry, you have to watch it on the YouTube. I can probably take this out if that's helpful for you guys. I hope the audio won't be too funky from that. You can,
I'm fine.
yeah, can you guys hear that? So, the Cartographer, basically they all said that start at the very beginning.
Yeah, I can't. Well, reading, yes. Shows, if like for Buffy, I'll start at the moment I want to start at. Like if I want to watch an Angel saga, I'll do that. With Battlestar, etc., which is apparently free to stream now. FYI, I've never watched it. Watch Battlestar. But,
On Amazon Prime, right?
Yeah, but I need to. If I'm reading, it's starting at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Battlestar Galactica is one of the best sci-fi shows of all time. That and Farscape.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of political, great characters, socio-political commentary, especially when it was coming out in the early 2000s, like during the Iraq War. The idea, and honestly, something that's probably even more relevant now, looking at what does a society do when they're pushed to the brink? What kind of government can you have? Is there martial law? And super interestingly, from the point of view of the military and the government, instead of like the people on the front lines, so you see the hard choices that they're making. And then as a person, I would be like, yeah, I'd be blown. I mean, if someone forced me to have a baby on a spaceship, I'd probably be, not blowing things up, but definitely protesting.
Yeah, fair enough. There you go, and the Cartographer.
I lost audio.
We all.
Awesome.
There you go. I was just telling her. Sorry, just telling her that we answered the question. We're all wrapped up there. Marco, it's your turn, my man. Marco, are you there? Would you have a question? You're up.
In my apartment. I'm sorry, I'm a shitty teen.
This is a trial and error. We're doing this for the first time. Hey, Marco, how are you, bud?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
We're good. What's your question?
It's kind of like a game question. It's marry, kill, or be in, and it's all the kind of novels to movies or TV shows. For marry, it's what's your favorite. For kill, it's what is just absolutely horrible that should never have been made, and what one would you want to be in.
So instead of marry, kill, bone, it's marry, kill, be in. So it's a...
Oh.
Almost the same.
Yeah, I get that. Okay. That's a really loaded question. I kind of wish we had that one before, so I could really just sit there and digest on it. But it's.
So are we talking the actual books or like someone in a book?
Like I guess it can span between like a kind of novel you read, but mainly kind of going to their remake into like film. Film.
If it were to be remade.
No, ones that have already been remade.
Oh, ones that have already been remade.
Yeah, I'll give you an example. I think I get the question.
Yeah.
For Mary, I feel like one that is awesome is Jurassic Park. Great adaptation of that book.
Oh, got it.
Right? For Kill, I would probably go Ender's Game. Didn't really care for that movie.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
It wasn't great. Didn't get me into that world. And then for Be In or Live In, that's kind of tough. I don't know, man. Maybe Princess Bride, the world of Princess Bride in that movie. That's great. That fantasy world. I don't know. So you guys go.
That makes sense. Okay, good adaptation. Gosh, come back to me.
I think Gone Girl. Honestly, like thinking about
that's a good one. That's a perfect one.
Yeah,
Good one.
I really liked the book, and they did such a great job with the movie. Like Rosamund Pike. Holy shit, guys! I've never met anyone I was more wanting to rescue and also run for my life from. That was amazing. So I'll marry that Gone Girl.
The Golden Compass movie would be my kill.
Kill it, burn it with fire. Yes.
World I want to be in, probably
Harry Potter. It's got to be Harry Potter, right?
It's Harry Potter or his Dark Materials. I'd love to try to kill God. Like, that just sounds like a really good adventure.
Yeah, I'm Harry Potter for sure. Gryffindor needs me. Thank you, Marco. That was fantastic. Wolf Alpha is like, kill it. Excellent choice, Rachel. Kill it. And they're all saying, kill the Golden Compass. Hey, Nathan, it's your turn now, bud.
Hi, guys. So, you kind of answered my first question, but this kind of goes back to rereading an old book or even re-watching an old movie or TV show. I went back and listened to my favorite book series that I loved since high school, so it's been about 10 years. But going back, I still loved it, but there was a lot of aspects of... It was a lot more rated R in Game of Thrones than I remembered it being, and I'm not really interested in that kind of stuff anymore. So I was wondering if there's been any books or even shows or movies that you've gone back from that you used to really truly love, but the shine is gone from it, and not just in a really more racist in this way, but the story itself just doesn't stand up.
I mean, a great example for that, Love Actually, when it first came out, I loved it, and now people are saying it's problematic, and I actually still champion it. I still love that movie. I can't help but just
Me too.
be in love with this concept. Like, yeah, PC be damned. I still don't really understand how or why, but anyway.
I would say with Love Actually, just my one point, my favorite story was always all the sad ones. Again, shocker. But like the Alan Rickman, Emma Thompson, real fucking, like, when she's listening to you hear the Joni Mitchell song and she's discovering that, like, that's why I love that movie. So I also I watch it every year.
Every Christmas, without fail, the last 5 or 6 years, yeah. But what do you guys think? Like, back to Nathan's question, like, is there something? I mean, Hector, you were even saying with John Carter how, you know, maybe you didn't understand, like, sort of how racist or offensive it was then. It is interesting. It's like, you know, how we're discovering new things the older we get. Like, oh, wow, this is kind of inappropriate. Like, for me, I had the opposite with you, Nathan, where it wasn't that I didn't appreciate or, like, you know, I'd lost its shine, but it added depth. When I first read Harry Potter, I was between the ages of 13 and 21. When we did it again for book club, that was so rewarding for me, because to break down the themes in that, and like now knowing that Harry had severe PTSD and depression and isolation issues and all of this trauma that I didn't really understand then. And so I kind of loved being able to have an adult lens on a children's property.
I think Harry Potter is a perfect example from those, especially like my, the Order of the Phoenix used to be one of my least favorite books, and when we read it again, it has skyrocketed to top 2, 3 for sure. And then also Harry Potter, looking at the sort of otherization of, you know, human characters and what they use to represent slavery or, you know, certain stereotypes about certain types of cultures that are being manifested in non-human characters, which was something that was super interesting to talk about with the house elves, with the goblins in the bank. Like, I mean, Star Wars is another one. The prequels that are very, there's some that were very obvious to me at the time, but there are many things later that came back to me. But
yeah,
it's also, I think you have to sort of maintain. It depends on intent and context. Like Huckleberry Finn, I don't think there's anything to be gained by erasing the racism that is entrenched in the time, in the story, in the characters. It's uncomfortable. I'll never say any of those words out loud ever in my life. But removing them takes away the conversation you need to have about why that happened in American history, I think. Or To Kill a Mockingbird, which was a rough read, but also an important one, for non-Alpha Book Club members. We did that one. We did not to do school books after that one.
Yeah, I think for me, it happens a lot with comic books, with superhero stories that I keep going back to and revisiting because I love to do that. And I feel like most of my life is like trying to justify still liking the stuff I liked as a kid. That's what most of my life is. I think you guys can relate. But I have no problem when I come across a story that I've either read when I was a kid or have never read but still deals with like characters from when I was a kid, where I realize as an adult, I'm like, oh, you know what? There's a lot of violence against women in this story. And then maybe those kinds of things that I wasn't aware of as like a young teen, being like, this story is like
the story as like a vehicle for the main male character.
Right. Which again,
the gaze is on it at all, and like the biggest thing I think that I've learned from doing book club, and especially like with Geek Bombs book club, we really dissect how men write men, how men write women, how women write men, and how women write women. That gaze, that authenticity, all of that has really opened up my eyes to the point where I watched
wrapped steel.
Right. But I also watched this movie that's just come out on Amazon Prime called Blow the Man Down, and it's kind of like Fargo-esque, but it's two young women that kind of, fend off a sexual attack and end up killing the man, and then like how they handle that. And within the first 15 minutes, I was like, this is so well written, this is so well handled. The dialogue is so authentic. Straight away, I Googled. I was like, who is it? Written by two women, directed by the same two women. And that's their directorial debut. Debut. Sorry?
Birds of Prey.
Yeah. Yep. And you see that camaraderie where it's not about competitiveness and it's not pit against each other. And it's not, I hate you because you're another woman and I have to be jealous because we're fighting over the same man. There's none of that shit. So, I think that's great. Hey, Law buddy, you are up. No, you did it again. Why do you keep doing that? Get back on here, Law. It is your question time. Law. Hey, bud. He's figuring this out for the first time. Or she. Law, who are you? So, Law, you have to have speaker? No. They're trying to talk. We can't hear you, bud. Talk. Audio's not coming through for you. Swing and a miss, perhaps. Hey, Nick, we're going to go to you. Just moving on. Are you there, Nick?
Yeah, I'm here.
Fantastic. Have you got a question for us?
Yeah. I've been thinking about this since the start of the questions, so...
really quickly, hold on. Hey, Nick, thank you so much for all the chocolate. You have been absolutely making me a chunky piglet over this lockdown, but you've saved me, so thank you for that. Sent me Australian chocolate for my birthday.
Aww.
Sorry, what was your question, Nick?
Well, first off, you're very welcome, and I'm happy you enjoyed it.
Oh, big time.
The question I have is... I formulated it around R.A. Salvatore because for me it's the easiest way to form the question. And besides, he's kind of a prolific author. My question is, if you had to pick a book or a series from a...
Hey, Nick, do me a favor. Can you mute the YouTube video?
A more famous series. So like with Salvatore, it's the Drizzt series. What would be your favorite... book or series of his that isn't that, so like Claire Twistad or something like that, which by the way I just started rereading because I forgot really how good that one is. And it doesn't have to be Salvatore.
Nick, I can hear our YouTube stream in the background. We lost Rachel. Hopefully Rachel could come back in. I think what the question you're asking, Nick, is what's our favorite series from R.A. Salvatore outside of Drizzt?
No, it can be any author. I'm just talking about like a second series. Like in his instance, his most famous is Drizzt.
I get you.
So what's your favorite one other than the author's most famous, if they have one?
Okay, I like that question.
It's just was Salvatore's the easiest one to come up with because of how prolific he is.
Right. So famous author, their most known series. What is another series that they've done which is just as good, if not better? There is an Australian author called Kate Forsythe. Her main series that she first put out, I believe, was about 5 books. It's called The Witches of Eliane or Eliane. That's what she was known for, and I got those and I didn't really get into it. Her second trilogy called Rhiannon's Ride, I blitzed through and thought it was fantastic. So, Rachel, she's just gone to Discord. She's like, what happened? She got dropped out. I thought maybe her battery had died or something.
She says she's trying to click the link. She doesn't know what happened.
She's trying to click the link?
That's what Rachel said.
Where is she saying?
In our private texts.
Check
Check your phone. There we go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I can even answer this question, Maude. I'm not as much of a reader of the multiple series from multiple authors as all of the amazing readers that have joined in. There we go.
There she is. She's back.
She's back.
She's back.
She's back. That's okay. So Rachel, I'm gonna hit this over to you. You can hear me, Rachel? Everything's good?
Yep.
Here was the question, and it was a great question. Do you have a favorite series or works from an author that they're most known for as like a famous series, but not that one? Does that make sense? So whatever the author's most famous for, what is something you like that's not that?
I got another one actually. Brandon Sanderson, Stormlight Kingdom, I believe. Stormlight Kings is his most known book series, but I've been reading Mistborn trilogy, and I really, really liked those. And the science behind the magic, I just have to finish them. Actually, we've got to do it. We've got to do it for book club, guys. I'm throwing that one in the ring.
It's been recommended to me many times.
Yep.
By the same person. Mine would be, I love Gone. It's not a series, but I love Gone Girl. But Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn was the first book I read by her before Gone. I think that was before Gone Girl came out, or before I'd seen it. And it's a tough read. It's a tough watch if you've seen the show. But it was a very personal book for me when I read it, and so I think she's well known for that one. But that's one of my favorite books ever. So
yeah, wow. I know you were a huge fan when we covered that in Alpha Book Club. I didn't know that it was like that high on the list. That's amazing. Thank you so much for that question, Nick. That was really thought out. Hey, Paul. This is Thrash Odin Paul, who's got our glasses. You are up. I'm hoping that you can hear me. It is your turn to ask a question. Hey, bud.
Hey, how's it going?
We're good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Hey, it's my favorite people on the internet.
Aww.
We're looking nice and smug. What's your question?
I couldn't think of a question because, what am I not asking you guys questions all the time?
That's a good one.
But I do have a book recommendation if you guys want to hear it.
Yes, please. What's your book rec?
Well, the first book rec, especially for right now, is I've been reading Solitary Fitness by Charles Bronson, whose English was Violent Prisoner. So he wrote a book on how to get really fit in solitary confinement.
Solitary confinement. Solitary being fit?
Yeah, how to get really strong while, being in prison.
Paul, what have you got plans to do? What have you done?
Workout equipment.
Why are you needing this information?
Because I was stuck in my apartment all day.
Oh, that makes sense. Now I'm following. You did not commit murder. You were stuck inside all day, and you're getting fit. Yes, I need that too. I'm increasing. My face is getting rounder every day. It's a lot of fun. All right, cool. Good book recommendation. I love recommendations. Pop it in the Discord chat, and we can pin that one as well. Which means that Remy, you're next.
Sorry, I just wanted to say I'm the cartographer talking about The Immortals by Tamora Pierce. The Lioness Quartet is the Alana series that I was talking about with the Knight. The Immortals is so good. I used to know the page number that a very important moment happens with Dane and Numair. I feel like this is just for M the cartographer, but like it was like the page where, you know, you find out about Dumbledore and Harry Potter.
Oh.
It was that big of a moment.
She's in all caps said, I know what you mean.
Yes.
Yeah, that's great.
Like,
hey, Remy, if you're there, it is your turn to ask a question. We've got Remy, then Jimmy, then Thierry, then Wolf Alpha, and then Zagua if they want in. So, Remy, how are you, bud?
I'm working at the moment, actually.
That's a good
sorry I was
thing.
late. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening. What's your question?
Well, a lot of my friends are trying to find some way to pass the time learning instruments, and I was thinking of the first book I ever listened to on Audible, which is The Art of Language Invention. So my question is, if you could learn a fictional language from any television or book sources
Elvish.
during this time, what would you go to, and what appeals to you about it?
Tolkien's Elvish language. Super old, centuries and centuries and centuries, super beautiful. They are the epitome of they're like the Ravenclaws of the Tolkien world. So that would be mine.
Yeah.
Hector, would yours be,
You got it.
Yeah.
Vulcan.
Yeah, Vulcan.
It would probably be Vulcan for same reasons. I would want to try to infuse some of that philosophy, which I think can be very helpful when you try to remain calm and logical and try not to let our emotions get the best of us. So that's what I picked, Vulcan. Rachel?
Oh, that's a hard one. Mine is technically a real language, but it's a lot like Aramaic, because then I could solve, mysteries as an archaeologist in the teens or something.
I'd actually love to learn Latin. I know it's like a, not forgotten, but an unused language now, but the amount of Latin-based, I love, what is it called again? I've had two wines now, but the study of language and where words originate. That's
Etymology?
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Elvish, is Elvish the one, I remember, okay, The Hobbit, one of my favorite books growing up, love the animated movie. Is Elvish the one where they line it up to the moon and it shows through? That's that image from the cartoon is burned into my brain. It's so beautiful, even though I never finished reading it.
I actually wouldn't mind, there's something about C-3PO being fluent in over 6 million forms of communication that I almost envy. That's a really, really cool thing. And I had another one. Oh, I forgot it. Hieroglyphics would be really cool to understand.
Mm-hmm.
Two-Wine Garrett. Yeah, Two-Wine Garrett is out at the moment. I cannot... what? Anyway, sorry guys, it's gone.
Well, guys, I think I can stick around for one more question.
I like the Vulcan as well. Being a Trekkie, that does appeal. That's pretty cool. David J. Peterson, who created a lot of languages on television and who wrote the book, I think he did 3 different languages for this Defiance series. So in terms of things I might go back and watch again and maybe delve into the languages for Defiance, the languages in Defiance are pretty cool.
Hey, Hector, do you want to promote what it is that you're doing and why you have to leave? Because that's a really big deal, especially with book club. I'll give you guys time for that while we organize one more question here.
Yeah, sure. I am going to be in about 30 minutes. We're going to be live streaming another book club, but a comic book club with Ashley Esqueda and Damien Poitier, which we used to do Alpha Comic Book Club, again, on the same thing. So that's going to be really fun. So I have to dip out here in a little bit, but I can stick around for one more question. And we're very excited. And, we get to look at, we're looking at comic books that are appearing on, if you have Comixology Unlimited, there's a ton of comics that are available on there. A lot of volume ones, like Lock and Key, Saga, those kinds of things to get people hooked, and then they can check out the rest of it. So, so if you're free, come and look at that. And I don't know exactly where it's going to be streaming, and my people, we're all figuring that out right now. So yeah.
Okay. So we do have time for one last question. Jimmy, I would pass it on to you, but you have a very big habit of asking 3 questions or 2 questions at a time that are quite long. So I'm actually going to pass it on to Wolf Alpha. Wolf, if you're there, here's your chance to shine. Jimmy, though, after the stream, I'm going to answer your questions, though, just so you have time and you get to do that. But Wolf Alpha, how you going, bud? What's your question? Yes, you. Hello. What's your question? Wolf, this is your chance. Oh no, audio's no good. Oh, he's saying I'm trying. Haha, hang on. Jimmy, I'll pass it over to you. If you've got something, yeah. Wolf, your mic's just having a hard trot. It's that. Hi, Jimmy. What's your question, bud? Nice and quick though.
Oh yeah, sure. I have dyslexia, so I wanted to know if anyone else has trouble, with reading books or has a similar type of thing. If not, that's fine. I'm just saying.
I have mild dyslexia, and I realized it the other day when I just said something as simple as, for example, let's say book club starting at 6. I would say cookbubs starting at 6, and I'm just like, yeah. So I'll take the first letters. And reading a teleprompter, I read so far ahead that as I'm reading the top sentence, I'm finishing the sentence underneath. So that can be a little bit tricky reading, which is why, again, I love Audible, because someone's reading to you. And that kind of takes out all of the hassle of it. But yeah, you are, and Adam, I'm mildly dyslexic with numbers. Same. Every time there's a phone number, the last 2 numbers are going to be switched without fail. So yeah, and I've only discovered that with my work, because when I'm live and on the spot, no idea why, but the first 2 letters of 2 words will swap. And it can be really embarrassing. The first time I realized I did it, I stormed up to my brother who owed me $1, and we call dollars bucks in Australia. And no, that's not even it. I was so mad at him. I said I was going to punch him, or I was going to bash him. So I said I was going to pash him. And pashing someone is a passionate kiss, and it's a tongue kiss. And I just told him I was going to pash him, and he's like, "I'm so sorry. Please don't do that." Much more effective than punch or bash. What about you guys? Do you have any issues with dyslexia, or do you have any information on it, or ways to get around it?
My older brother has dyslexia and is a member of the family who's never been a huge reader, but he's gotten really into audiobooks, and he loves like James Bond or the Mark Wahlberg movie that just went on Netflix that's like based on a book series is like his favorite one. I think it's Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It's but he's such a doodly dude. But yeah, he in our family, which is a fairly like big reading family, he has found the ones that work for him, but struggled with it a lot growing up. Yeah.
There you go, buddy. So you're not alone.
I sometimes struggle with some stuff, and I know we were talking about it earlier, Maude and Rachel, mostly just like zoning out when I'm reading, that it can sometimes be a real problem if I'm tired, distracted, whatever. And the solution for me is I just force myself to go back to the top of the page and go like, okay, let's try this again, man. But it helps when you're reading something that you love, or you're reading a world or a series that you love. It doesn't feel like homework. It feels like, hey, you just missed a cool thing Indiana Jones did. Go back and read it again. You missed it, you dummy. And then I'm fine.
Fantastic. Yeah, great question.
I only want to read and watch and do stuff that I like. I don't like the sort of, fake, like, the classics. Some of them are great. Some of them are fucking boring.
Agree completely. Well, that is all the time we have for the audience questions. Sorry to those who missed out, and a couple of audio issues with that. Really appreciate it. If you want to get involved in the book club Discord, all you have to do is subscribe and back Geek Bomb on Patreon, which is patreon.com/geekbomb. It's $5 and up, gets access to all of the Discord there. We talk about playing, watching, reading, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, a bunch of stuff there. Everyone's really great.
It's gotten me onto Discord, and every time I'm on, I love the community. So
community's fantastic, yeah. And I've actually met like a handful of these guys now. They're so great. So yeah, if you want to join the community, do that because you get to ask questions to us directly. Guys, thank you so much for joining me and making Geek Bomb Live happen. How cool was that? I'd love to be able to do more book club stuff with you, if at all possible. So that could be something.
That'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty cool. That could be something maybe worth exploring. We're not entirely. We're a little.
What books would people want to read if we were to do this again? I know I can touch my face because I haven't seen another human in so long.
What's another human? Yeah, in the book club chat on Discord right now, we'd love to hear from you. What book should we cover next in April? I mean, obviously we need one. It'd be really cool to kind of figure out a book that we can read. But Hector, you've got to go. Everyone who's watching this, head over to Comic Book Club. There you can catch with Hector and my gorgeous friend Ashley, who I love so much. Have the best time. Thanks again. Make sure you subscribe to Geek Bomb. We'll catch you guys later.
We love you guys. And also thank you, Maude, for being such an amazing host and setting up all the tech and everything.
Yay! Thanks, guys. Bye.
Bye.